For centuries, the Japanese have learned to draw from powerful nature. With no space to grow food for all, Japanese cuisine distilled instead the very best from its oceans and from the forests and the mountains that cover most of Japan's long archipelago. To truly be nourished, they believe, you must open all your senses, become aware of the world around you, and in paying thoughtful attention, they discovered astonishing invisible worlds. Once upon a time, more than 1,000 years ago, the Japanese had a close encounter with another kind. This is a mould spore. The Japanese learned it was possible to harness its powers and to grow prosperous by doing so. For like the alchemy that men hoped would turn base metal into gold, the humble mould spore could transform rot into exquisite elixirs for trade. Sprinkle this magic dust on rice, and the rice changes into delicate sake. Sprinkle it onto soya beans, and they transform into shoyu, the soy sauce that is a pillar of Japanese cuisine. To the ancient imperial capital, Kyoto, pristine seasonal produce has been transported for centuries. It is here that the fine art of Japanese cuisine was developed for the emperor and his court. In his exclusive restaurant, Chef Kato sources the very best shoyu for his gastronomic compositions. Shoyu, or soy sauce, is an all-purpose seasoning, enriching flavors by a paradoxical combination of salty bitterness and sweet sourness. It comes in light or dark shades to harmonize with the colors in the chef's deceptively simple dishes. Shoyu, sake, and mirin are essential seasonings in Japanese cuisine and are all produced from a miraculous mould spore exclusive to Japan. Sake enhances the delicate aroma of dishes, mellowing the fishy accents of seafood. Mirin is a sweet distillation of sake. It provides the honeyed high notes in a dish. The aim is not to mask, but to delicately magnify the freshest of ingredients in a pure polyphony of flavor.
O shoyu, o sake, mirin、これが合わさってシンフォニーというものが奏でるわけですね。その中でお醤油っていうの割合っていうのは非常に大事なこと。
Among the old wooden machiya merchant houses, the ancient craft of brewing shoyu is best preserved. Near the ancient imperial palace, the Sawai family business has flourished for well over 100 years. It's a process that must begin in spring and requires one whole year to mature the soy sauce for which the brewery is famed. The choicest soya beans, having simmered overnight, are then carried up to the loft and spread out carefully over a pale bed of wheat by the head of the family, Hisateru Sawai. The Japanese have learned the arcane knowledge of what each season can bring forth.
畑を耕すように、やっております。大豆の畑を作るっていうことですね。やっぱり命を育てるっていうことやと思ってます。
This is the secret seed of life, unique to Japan, Aspergillus oryzae. The tiny mould spores must be carefully mixed with the wheat, so they settle and don't disperse.
これはもう僕にとっては大切な生き物ですね。枯れ木に花を咲かせましょう。綺麗な花を咲かせましょう。枯れ木に花を咲かせましょう。満開に花を咲かせましょう。
The brewer's chant is drawn from an ancient folk tale. It makes the impossible possible.
麹菌は植物を育てるような同じような感じで芽が出て花が咲くって僕らの間では言うんですけども、一面が麹菌の、色に変わります。その時花が咲いたって言って僕らは喜びます。
When the oryzae blooms, Sawai promises that his loft will be transformed into a meadow of green flowers. But why do they sow the oryzae in cherry blossom season? The temperature in April rises to a warm 20 degrees Celsius. March is too cold for oryzae to incubate and grow. May is too hot, and it will suffocate. The Shoyu brewer knows well the climatic conditions that favor his delicate crop. The oryzae grows by breaking down the soya beans and converting them to sugar and amino acids. But the nighttime temperature drops to below 10 degrees Celsius. Worried that the cold will retard the oryzae's growth, Sawai keeps an anxious watch throughout the night. And 3 days later,
あ、ほっとしました。ほっとしました、本当に。今日は麹やね。
よかったです。ほんまやね。
ふわふわやろか。
そうそうふわふわ。
うん。これすごいいい麹ですね。今日はいい麹ですね。しっかり花が咲いてくれてますね。 甘くなった感じしますね。ちょっと締まった感じもしますし、旨味がそうですね、凝縮している感じですね。
The bloom lasts only a few precious hours, so without a minute to spare, the brewers must transfer the mix to a cedarwood cask. And then, like the finest spirits in the West, the fermenting concoction will mature. But it will take a further 3 seasons for the rich tone and flavor of shoyu to emerge. Chef Kato has perfected the virtuoso knife work that comes with years of experience. One of his specialities is sashimi. He knows the seasonal variations in the fat content of each fish, calibrates for freshness, and then cuts. Kato thinks about the shoyu or soy sauce when he's cutting.
お魚は包丁一つの切り方、角度、すべてによって美味しさが変わってきます。
As precise as the line drawn by a great artist, the knife may slice straight down from skin through plump flesh. This method is called hirazukuri. When the cut is made in one quick motion, the surface of the sashimi is smooth and silky. The shoyu will seep gently into the grain, but not cling to the flesh. If the cut is made against the grain, it is called sogizukuri and creates a more textured surface with a slight circular motion of the knife. The shoyu will then envelop the entire fatty flesh, not just the grain.
お魚の旨味もありますけども、やはり醤油の旨味も大事だと思いますね。お魚とお醤油のハーモニーですか。これは非常に面白いところですね。
The Japanese have simplified their cooking by learning the complex craft of distilling flavor from nature. And the mould oryzae creates the shoyu's deliciousness. That fifth taste that the Japanese call umami. The Japanese first encountered oryzae in the fermentation of rice to produce sake. Master sake brewer Takatoshi Ono uses the same methods his ancestors did 1,000 years ago. It's a complex process involving fermentation, but quite different from, say, our winemaking. In the vineyards of the Western world, grapes are ripened to sweetness. When grapes are crushed and the extracted juice left to stand, the yeast in the grape skins is attracted by the sweetness of the sugar in the juice. The yeast converts the grape sugar into alcohol. Today, this natural fermentation process is sometimes enhanced by artificial means. Japan's humid climate is not suited for grape growing. So the Japanese turn to their staple product, rice. In this rice paddy, the stalks are heavy with rice. Master brewer Ono is hunting for a magic substance that will transform it into an alcohol named sake. A catalyst is required. In the way malt is used to convert barley into sugar and brew beer, for sake, rice must first be converted to sugar too. It's what the Japanese consider the spirit and the soul of the rice plant. A mould they call inadama. This mould can convert rice into sugar.
これ稲玉とか稲麹っていうものを取ってます。麹菌に侵されて、普通のお米としては病害なんですけれども、これを元にして、うまく育ててあげると醸造で使われる種麹というものが、作れる、そういうものです。
Inadama only appears on a bumper rice crop. It's very rare. It contains oryzae that will transform the rice into sugar. The master brewer places the inadama in a shaker. When shaken vigorously, the oryzae spores in the inadama are released like fine talc. The oryzae spores fall on the steamed rice. When the oryzae awaken on the rice, they grow filaments that begin to heat up. The red hue, like a thermometer, indicates the temperature has climbed over 35 degrees Celsius. Ono checks the temperature in the palm of his hand, for oryzae die if they overheat. The process by which the mold is converting rice into sugar generates the heat. If it rises much above 35 degrees, he will make the filamentous fungus dance in the air to cool off.
野生のものはすごい元気、一旦育ち始めちゃうとどんどん成長して熱も出すし、いろいろ酵素もたくさん出してくれるしっていう感じで、やっぱり力強いですよね。
About a week later, he checks the rice again. The chemical conversion is well underway.
甘いですね。でもまあその灰の苦みがまだちょっとあるんですけど、乾燥するとね、またこの甘みを強く感じるようになります。
Sweetness. That means the starch in the rice has changed to sugar. So everything is ready to progress to the next stage, to the fermentation. And now, just as in winemaking, alcohol will be produced.